You are now listening to the Q&E Podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? Well, come and get it, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Q&E Podcast. You're here with your boy Q Hicks right now. I got Edgar on the other line. Edgar, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Q&E Podcast. Today, we are reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. And the title of this one is The World is Watching. And that title came to fruition around the end of the episode. I honestly love this episode so much. This is definitely the tilting point in the season because I think you said it's like, 6 episodes per season that they're going to do. So this is definitely the climax that we needed. Anti-Cap predictions are coming true and to full fruition. I'm loving it.
I did love this episode, but something I did not like, just to start it off, is, and obviously in the comics, he ends up meeting up with the power broker to end up getting his powers. I don't like the way he got the super soldier serum. Like, he just stumbles upon it when after Carly, you know what I'm saying, ends up getting shot or whatever, and after he knocks out Zemo. I don't like how he got the super soldier serum. I would have liked it more in a like a power broker, like more like that. But just stumbling upon the shit, I was like, I don't know how much I like that. But I did love this episode though.
But I think they doing it like that because they're trying to not go so fast with things. Because the less episodes you have, like you can't have few episodes and giving a whole bunch of stuff. Like you if you're planning to have like multiple seasons. Now, if it's just a one season thing, yeah, put as much in each episode as you can.
I don't think any of these are going to be 2 seasons, honestly. Because it wouldn't make sense to me. Like, why would we have a Captain America or a Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 2 when it probably would have to be next year after we see movies and movies and movies? And why would they make a Falcon and Winter Soldier 2? It just wouldn't make sense to me. So I feel like all of these shows are only going to be one season, and that would make more sense. And just to give us more background on these characters, we really didn't know Bucky like that. Really didn't know Sam. Just give us more background on them, and then just move on to the movies. Now we understand them more and to move on. Like, I don't understand like the 2 season thing because I've been seeing that around places.
But I feel like they have an opportunity, at least with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm not saying they have recorded, but maybe they've recorded a season 2 or they're in progress recording a season 2 that could drop either before the end of this year or early into 2022. You know, with WandaVision, yeah, you kind of got to wait until Doctor Strange 2 comes out next year because the way they foreshadowed a lot of that stuff. But with this one, depending on how this season is going to end, you could possibly see a season 2 for this come before a season 2 of WandaVision, assuming that there would be a season 2.
And I wanted to see the power broker this episode, but I don't know if it's just me, but didn't they say they were in Latvia this episode? Latvia?
Wow. Where were they this episode? I don't think I
want to say they said they were in Latvia. Because I think the hotel they were in was in Latvia. Isn't Dr. Doom from Latvia?
No, he's not from there, but I think he was put there at one point.
I think we could be seeing some sort of connection because Zemo did escape this episode. So Did he escape and go to the power broker, or is he working with somebody like a Dr. Doom, who I think is from Latveria, one of those places? Is he working with somebody like a Dr. Doom? Did he escape and go see Dr. Doom, who we already know has master plans by this point? That's something I could be foreshadowing. I don't know if it's Latvia or Latveria. I could be mixing those two up, but I know Dr. Doom is from one of them.
I don't think we'd get a Dr. Doom preview or Easter egg until the next Spider-Man comes out at the end of this year. Because I think that Spider-Man, I predicted it already. I think that Spider-Man is going to give some type of Fantastic Four Easter egg, maybe some type of Fantastic Four cameo in a sense. But I don't think we'd get a Dr. Doom one before Fantastic Four. I think they would want to hint at the superheroes before they hint at the supervillain. But the biggest plot points for this episode were the road to anti-Cap begins, like we just said. Carly isn't the bad guy. That was the second one that I feel was the biggest plot point. And the era of the clean hero narrative is gone forever. We've already said it before, how Marvel is really getting into their supervillain bag, while all the villains that we're like seeing from WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier now with everything what's to come with that. And then we got Loki coming out soon. So we're going to get a lot of multiverse and quantum verse type stuff. Like the amount of villains is going to be endless. And the good hero, squeaky clean resume, Captain America, do nothing wrong heroes, that stuff is out the window at this point. And we clearly see that with this episode.
Mm-hmm. But one thing I do want to say about the Flagsmashers, I really do not like their storyline and the plot that they've been given. Either I'm just confused because I feel like their goal is so all over the place. I feel like in the beginning their goal was something else, and then like the goalpost has been moved. I think they gave us a clear picture this episode, but I just feel like it's been all over the place this whole season, bro. And I rather them like push the Flagsmashers to the side. Like we got 30 minutes of Flagsmasher this episode. I would rather them like shorten their screen time and give us more of like Sharon. Like we only got like 2 clips of Sharon this episode, and we seen Sharon in some like underground bunker where she was passing a lot of shit in the with like bodyguards and shit. I would have rather seen more information on Sharon than the Flagsmasher. I'm just not interested in them, honestly, bro. I'm just really not.
But I love the fact that we got so much of the Flagsmashers this episode because of what you just said on how they're really trying to go in depth and make you understand their movement a lot more. And that was the sole purpose of this episode, I believe. And that's why I put in the plot points that Carly isn't the bad guy. You had to get a more in-depth look at the Flagsmashers and a more in-depth look at Carly, because I have a prediction. I'm going to say it now before we even get to the end of the episode. I have a prediction that Carly, she won't be an Avenger, but I could definitely see her. If she doesn't die, I could definitely see her being an ally of some sort to the Avengers, because she's already a super soldier. She has the serum. So I don't see her just being a full-blown costume wearing type person, but she could definitely be an ally in the future. So I feel like that's why they had to go so in depth with her personally.
And her and Sam have a connection with their families going through similar things and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But I love what they brought up this episode, talking about the supremacy and being an Avenger and being a super soldier. How it really isn't that different, bro. When you have so many powers, you are going to be looked at and you have an advantage over everybody else. So you, in theory, you are a supremacist over everybody else. So I love that comparison that they kept throwing around this episode. And we'll dive deeper in it once we dive into the plot.
But let's go ahead and start the episode off. First scene of the episode, we get a flashback to 6 years ago when Bucky was the White Wolf in Wakanda. This is before Thanos came with the snap and everything. And this is around the time when Steve gave Bucky to Black Panther for them to get the Hydra stuff out of his head. If we see Ayo is testing Bucky's Winter Soldier trigger words, and she helps free him from Hydra's programming. And I'm glad they did that, because I always did kind of want to get a little glimpse of how it was for them to free him from that, because at the end of Avengers Infinity War, you see he's in Wakanda and you see he's at peace and everything. And then Endgame, that was in the Black Panther, my bad. And then you see him in Infinity War, he's already a good guy off rip and everybody trusts him again. So I'm like, damn, how was the deprogramming process? So I'm glad they showed that at least a little bit.
One question I have, because I did think Bucky and it could still come true that Bucky is going back to Wakanda after everything settles down, because I think he will end up becoming the White Wolf moving forward. But will they accept Bucky, because they did, quote unquote, betray, or he betrayed them by freeing Zemo or letting Zemo get free? So will they accept him back in Wakanda after you freed somebody who killed the king? Like, will they be as accepting as they would be before? Is a question I would have.
I think so, to a certain extent. I don't think they'll just be happy for him to be back. But if he explains himself and he lets them understand, look, it's a necessary evil that we need to use at the moment for the greater good of what we're trying to do. I feel like if he explains that, they know Bucky well enough to know like he's true to his word and stuff like that. So it'll definitely be a high tension situation, but I don't feel like they just won't allow him back in Wakanda or anything like that. But we get to the next scene where they go back into today's time, and Bucky and Ayo converse, and she gives him 8 hours to do what they need with Zemo before the Dora Milaje come for him. and he translate that message to Sam and Zemo once they link back up with each other, and they find out Carly's GRC bombing is making big headlines. So that was huge to me because they finally seen that, look, these Flagsmashers, like, they're taking real supremacist type of measures to do what they need to do. And Zemo says the only way you can stop her is to kill her. Once you're on that super soldier serum and you have that mindset of you want control in that way, you have to kill her. That's the only option.
And that's why I would push back your theory of them potentially being an ally moving forward, because I feel like she would have to get killed or she's going to keep going on this path that she's on right now. Like, and who said it? Lamar Hoskins had said it later in the episode. The serum makes you more of the person that you were before. And I feel like she's somebody who wants to help, but wants to help by any means necessary. And that's her personality. So she's going to keep continuing to do this, even though everybody's after her, even though she's getting all this attention, she's going to keep doing what she think is right and get it. That's drawing all this attention. So I think she would have to get killed. So she would stop it. I feel like if you kill her, like, everybody else will kind of disband because she's the leader and she's the one everybody looks at. So if you don't have the head, like, you cut off the head to the snake, basically. So I feel like everybody else would just go back to doing their own thing.
But the only rebuttal I would have with that is, like I just said, the era of squeaky clean heroes is out the door with the MCU. I feel like any hero that we are going to get now is going to have a dark past or a troubled past or even something currently that they have going on to where you can't fully look at them as a hero sometimes. And I think we're seeing that with Carly, because what Carly is doing is helping millions of people by giving them hope and giving them aid to a certain extent. But she also is doing stuff, like you said, by any means necessary, to a point where it's like you're hurting people along the way, but in your eyes, you feel like you're helping more people than the few people that you're hurting. So I feel like she could be a hero moving into the future, but she's going to be one of those heroes that's like, hey, I had to do some dark shit back in my day when I first got started. You know, it's not easy just saving the day. Sometimes you have to hurt people. Sometimes you have to do shit that isn't really quote unquote hero like. So I understood her from that perspective. And Sam, we see Sam doesn't even really want to wage war against her because she's just a kid. Like, yeah, she has a motive. Yeah, she has a plan, but I feel like we could still reach out to her because she's still young as hell at the end of the day.
How big is the power broker going to be moving forward? I feel like the power broker will have to lead on even after this show ends. Like, I feel like he's not somebody who's going to be stopped right now, because I was just thinking about it. Like, if Carly continues to be her hero, that means Power Broker didn't end up catching up to her and ended up killing her or whatever. And Sam and Bucky don't end up taking down the Power Broker. So I feel like you would have to continue. So how big of a role do you think the Power Broker could play in this new MCU, though?
I feel like he won't play a huge role, because I feel like we're going to see way bigger villains than just super soldier stuff, and whatever kind of powers he can sell. I feel like he won't be a top tier villain, but he'll be a common villain that we might see thoroughly moving forward.
Because what I've been hearing, a theory floating around, is this Power Broker is the Mandarin. And the Mandarin who is from Shai-Ching and the 10 Rings, I heard that he could be the Power Broker, and he is the one trying to chase after the Flagsmashers and Carly and things like that. And that would make more sense, because since he's not being stopped in this series, that would make more sense moving forward. We got Shang-Chi comes out later this year, and then we can dive more into his character then. And I feel like I would like that, since we're not going to have enough time this series. And that was something I was kind of upset with last week. And that's why we didn't dive into him, because I'm like, if he's not going to make it into the regular MCU and he's going to be stopped this series, like, we need to flesh out his character, learn about his character a little bit. But he's going to be in other shows, other movies moving forward. So that would make sense if it was the Mandarin, because we're going to develop his character moving forward. We don't have to develop him right now. So that would make more sense. So I like that.
I feel what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. And we get to the next scene. Carly and the Flagsmashers look fearful as the broadcast of their movement is growing, and they realize they're shaking a lot of ground, and they got a lot of governments looking at them now. Damn near the whole world is not on their side for the most part on what's going on. And Sam even I don't know if he said this to Carly or if he said this to Bucky and Zemo later in the episode, but Sam even talked about it on the fact that, look, when everybody blipped out, the people who were left behind, they all came together for once in the history of the world. Everybody was together and everybody was on the same page. Everybody comes back. Boom. Countries are divided again. Boom. Poor people are poor and rich people are rich again. Like the status quos of everything went right back into place. So that's why Sam has a soft spot, I guess, for Carly. And
he's
I'm
going
really
through that
understanding.
same situation. He's going through that same situation back home with his sister. His sister can't even get loans and shit like that because everybody's coming back and they have stricter restrictions on like loans at the bank and shit. So she's still struggling since everybody has been coming back. So that makes a lot of sense. But I'm just mad that it took this long for us to actually realize what happened with them. Like it took us to episode 4 to actually find out what happened with the Flagsmashers. Like that's what I mean. Like, why did it take that long? Like y'all could have told us this in episode 1 or 2. Like, okay, we was kicked out of the home. This is why we love the blip so much. But y'all wait until episode 4 until we finally like, oh, okay, this is why she's doing this. Okay, the world was like this in the blip, and now she wants to get back to that. Okay, that makes way more sense. But it took episode 4. That's why I was so confused the first 3 episodes. Like, what is their purpose for real? And I feel like their plot was kind of like running stale with me, but it made more sense after watching this episode. That's something I will say.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of running stale with me all the way up until this point, because if they didn't capture what their true meaning was this episode, I really would have been mad as hell, because it's like I still don't fully understand. But now I fully get a scope of what they're trying to do.
But my question would be, what are they doing? Because everybody is still going to be back in this. Everybody is back now from the blip. Everybody is back. So what is the plan? I guess is what I'm asking. What is the plan for them? Like, what is your mission? Like, I'll keep going to get medical supplies. It's like, okay, that's cool. But what's the plan to get back to the way it used to be? Like, how do y'all think America is going to become one by stealing medical supplies and blowing up buildings? Like, how is that going to lead to the America that was before the blip?
A lot of times the message is all that's really needed. You know, even if the actions that you're doing don't all the way make sense, you know, the message that you're sending, that's why she's touching so many people, because her message makes sense. Yeah.
She's trying.
Yeah, she's trying. She's a symbol of hope. And when you're a symbol of hope, even if all the actions that you're trying to do don't come to fruition, even if everything you have planned out or don't fully have planned out don't happen, the message that you're giving people can inspire the next person to do the same thing. So even if Carly were to die, yeah, the movement would slow down to a certain extent.
She would be a martyr, damn near.
She would be a martyr, exactly.
Yeah.
And then that would push the movement even further. And then I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be too hard to find one person out of millions of people to be on the same type of shit Carly on, especially if they already got the serum in them. So she taking that role of, if I got to be a martyr, I will, because the message has gotten to so many people, it's still going to make a change. And then we get to the next scene where Sam, Bucky, and Zemo are asking around about Donya Madani, Mother Donya, to the Flagsmashers. And no one wants to speak. Everybody is being real quiet with them. But Zemo gets information on Donya's funeral by bribing some kids with Turkish Delight candies. I've always heard that that's a very good candy. I got to try one day. But Sam sees the good in Carly, like we just said. And Zemo, I thought he was on some flaw shit. Not even gonna lie to you.
Me too.
Zemo's being flawed.
I thought he wasn't gonna tell them where it was at, but he ended up telling him. And I was like,
yeah,
that was kind of weird. Like, you're an enemy, and that's why I'm glad he escaped. Because if he didn't escape this episode, I would have kind of been like, what is Zemo planning here? But I'm glad he escaped, because I'm just like, you're giving everybody this information, like you sticking around a little too long with the good guy shit. So I'm glad he escaped and got back to his shit.
I kind of got why he did that though in the beginning, because it was like, okay, once he explained it in like the next scene, he was like, I know y'all just using me, like, even though we kind of clicking just a little bit with what we doing, I know the mission at the end of the day is just to use me until y'all can't use me no more. So I'm gonna withhold as much information as I can and give y'all the little bit y'all want, so I can be out for as long as I want. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get what he doing. He ain't really being flawed, he just being Zemo. So
yeah.
And then we get to the next scene where Sam calls Sharon for help, and she agrees, and she tells him that the power broker is mad as hell about Nagel's death. And like you just said, we still not really getting a full look. We don't know what the power broker looks like. We don't really know like where his place is. Yeah, he's in Madripoor, but he's like, we just don't know much about him yet still. Like, it's just that ever-lying bringing up of his name that's just ringing a lot of bells with people. And I'm like, okay, one episode of that was cool where y'all just kept saying his name, but it's right now, like, don't say his name unless y'all
unless you gonna yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling this episode. Like, okay, y'all still talking about the power broker, like y'all did the same thing last episodes. That's why I was so confident we were going to at least see him. And I thought this episode was going to be the episode where John Walker met up with the power broker, but we see how that ended up playing out. But I'm like, they're probably going to wait until that, like the last episode, to give us Mandarin or whoever is the power broker. Yeah, before we dive into Shang-Chi or whatever, and then we're gonna flesh out his character. So I understand it now. It's making more sense now than before, but I'm just like, bruh, y'all keep saying this nigga name like he gonna pop up next scene. And I'm like, I don't fuck with that shit at all, bruh. For real. Because
remember with Powerpuff Girls, every time they brought up him, like they showed him. Like,
yeah.
They're not doing that with Power Broker. It's like they keep saying Power Broker. I'm like, he's not coming to the screen. Like, I don't know why they keep adding his name into the script.
It's like they keep showing Power Broker and they show you Sharon. So that's like a damn near identifier.
Yeah,
that
I really feel like
I
feel like we're right with that. We're definitely right with that.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Carly goes to a graveyard and gets the rest of the serum. She's having doubts, though, about making more super soldiers, but she tells one of her comrades that she wants to make a change and have a legacy bigger than Cap's shield, because she's one of those believers that shield doesn't do anything but represent a false narrative of what America is, a false America of what hope is and everything like that. She's not a believer in the whole Avengers One United type shit. She's not a believer in that. She's more of a realistic, like, we need a true symbol of hope. So I was definitely in agreement with Carly with that, because the Avengers do like a lot of these governments do. Like, they paint the picture they want you to see, and they hide the stuff that you don't, I guess, like really need to see that they do to get the job done. So I definitely love that scene.
Just like the GRC is literally painting over everything, acting like everybody is coming together and all that bullshit. Yeah. When really is people just like Carly who was kicked out of their homes and homeless and shit and dying because y'all painting this narrative like everything all good since the blip. It's like, nah, nigga, I'm finna show y'all like shit ain't good. So it's like, yeah, I understand why she blowing up everything.
And then we get to the next scene where John and Lamar meet up with Sam, Bucky, and Zemo. Sam has a plan to try and talk to Carly and really try to have a one-on-one to see where her head is. And the girl Zemo bribed leads them to the funeral. And this is where John Walker starts getting on that dumb shit.
Bro, he popped up out of nowhere. This nigga just also him and Lamar just on the scene and shit. Like, okay.
It wasn't even the fact that he popped up. I'm like, okay, you popping up because you trying to be involved in saving the day. So okay, pop up. But he trying to take charge. He don't even fully know what's going on. He's just like, hey, I'm Captain America and I'm here now, bitch. Like, I'm in charge. I'm like, no, bro. Steve, this is why you will never be Steve. Steve don't do that. Steve pop up and he take charge when he feels it's absolutely necessary. What Steve would have did in that situation, he would have got there. He would have been like, okay, y'all lead the way, inform me on what's going on so I know how to move. And then if he sees shit going left, then he like, okay, bitch, move. I'm Captain America. I got this. You can't just walk up and just be like, everybody got to listen to what I say, even though I have no idea what's going on. He was pissing me off.
That nigga was so worried about Zemo and shit's like, my nigga, Zemo helping us right now, my nigga. We trying to get to the real people that's really blowing up shit right now. Not worrying about Zemo. Zemo chilling right now. Like, man,
exactly.
This nigga was getting on my bro.
That's all. This like, nigga needs to die. I'm like, you don't even know what's going on, bro.
Bro, that shit crazy. But I want to talk about that last scene, bro. I ain't even gonna talk about the last scene, just that last photo shot. When he ended up killing old boy, you know what I'm saying, stabbing him with the shield or whatever. When they had the blood on the shield and he was looking like, oh my God. That was probably one of my favorite captured moments ever, bro, in the MCU. That shit just looked so fire and everybody just looking like, what the fuck going on? That's like, oh shit. I don't know. I kind of started fucking with John Walker a little more after that. Started fucking with the nigga a little more after that.
That's why I put that on the plot point, bro. Like, he ruined he's low key. He's going to ruin the legacy of Captain America. Like
exactly
the blood on the shield. Yeah, you're ruining the legacy, my guy. You're ruining the legacy.
And this is why Sam didn't want the shield. That's why a lot of people don't understand it. When you have a clear example, why people shouldn't have the shield and why should have just died with Captain America. No, Sam wouldn't have been doing no stupid shit like John Walker, but you don't want to ruin the legacy of what Cap already did for America, bro. Just let that die. And then somebody has said something on Instagram, and he made a very good point, bro. Made a very good point. It was from the Savory Podcast. Shout out to my bros over there. But they had said, because we had said last week that we think Sam is going to be the person to take the shield. And bro from the Savory Podcast ended up saying he thinks it's going to be shared between Bucky and Sam. It's not going to be a true Captain America. It's going to be shared between the two. And I was like, that makes so much sense, bro, because in the trailer, both of them are throwing the shield back and forth and shit. So I'm like, damn, my nigga, that makes so much sense. They share the shield
I can see
and
that.
only use it when they need it. So shout out to my bros from the Savory Podcast. They brought that shit up, and I was like, y'all made a very good point with that. And I think that's what's going to happen.
I could definitely see that. Definitely. Honestly, shit. You could make a whole nother shield to be honest. Well, not make a whole nother shield. I repaint that bitch. That way it ain't the same logo. that way I could be like, okay, it's a shield, but I tricked it out and made it different, so it's not the same symbol. So you can't say I'm on the same shit. See?
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't have the shield.
For real. Gotta keep that shit with America. All right.
But we get to the next scene where Donya's funeral takes place, and Carly's voice is reaching everyone, and she notices that everybody is starting to follow the mission that she's giving and going under the cape of hope that she's providing for everybody. And her and Sam, after the funeral, finally meet up, and they almost come to a conclusion. They have a real heart-to-heart talk, like you just said. Like, he's letting her know, look, I'm facing the same type of shit with my sister. Like, you're not alone. It's just the way you're going about getting your point across is just wrong. Like, you're not wrong in what you're trying to do, but you're just doing it in the wrong way. And they almost get some shit accomplished. But John Walker, dumbass, just tries to be a hero. Just tries
like
to be
always,
a hero.
bro. Like, and I'm so
like,
mad that nigga Bucky let him through, bro. Bucky let that nigga through so easy. He was like, "Do you really want Sam's blood on your hands?" Like, bro, Sam can take care of himself, my nigga. Sam is not about to die at the hands of a super soldier and Carly, my nigga. He's been a counselor. He's been in these type of positions. Trust in Sam. I hate the fact that nigga just let that nigga John Walker walk in. I was just like, come on, Bucky. You know better.
But on one hand, I do kind of understand why Bucky kind of did just let him go in, because Bucky is already dealing with the trauma of all the innocent people he literally did kill or let get killed. So it's like, yeah, Sam can take care of himself, but what if? What if that slight probability that Carly does kill him and I could have stopped it by letting John go up there? I feel like that's why Bucky had that brief moment where he was like, all right, fuck it, go up there. Like, I don't want nothing to happen to Sam. They don't like each other on a friendship level, but they respect each other and like each other enough to want each other to stay alive and be able to work with each other. And I think that's why Bucky wanted him to be safe. Still some dumbass shit by John Walker, though. And we see the plan is ruined. And Zemo catches her. And Zemo really surprised me with this shit. Zemo destroys the serum. Zemo is actually.
Oh, you talking about that surprised you?
Yeah, he wasn't trying to take any of it. I'm thinking Zemo probably gonna take one. Cause when I see him stepping on him, I'm like, he probably finna take one. He's trying to smash all these shits.
He don't want super soldiers. Yeah, he don't want super soldiers or Avengers.
No,
but
but it's like that was just so un-Zemo-ish of him. I'm thinking he probably gonna take it and try to do something. I'm thinking he finna do some type of evil shit to make us all remember that he's Zemo. But he was really on some good guy shit, trying to destroy all the serum and end that shit. That surprised me. I don't know about you, but that surprised me. But then John Walker, some more dumb shit, knocks Zemo out with the shield, and he sees one vial left, and he takes that vial for himself. I thought he was gonna take two, because I thought Lamar and John were probably going to take the serum, but he only took one. So yeah, that shocked me. That didn't shock me because I knew he was eventually going to become a super soldier, but it shocked me like how it did with you. I didn't expect it to just happen that way.
Yeah. The part about him stepping on the super soldier serum didn't surprise me at all because we've already seen that this nigga Zemo don't give a fuck about super soldiers at all. So he doesn't want to create any more of them. So he wants to step on as much serum as possible. So I thought you were talking about when he actually shot Carly. I thought you thought that was surprising. I was just like,
that ain't surprising me.
That was something else that I was hearing that Zemo could have possibly been working with Carly. That was another theory that I could have been seeing, but we see that shit went all the way out the window. Mm-hmm. But that shit kind of surprised me in the moment because I was hearing those theories last week. But I was just like, okay, that makes sense. But like, yeah, I just didn't like the fact that how he got the super soldier serum, John Walker. That was it about that scene.
And we noticed that the power broker texts Carly after all of that happened, and he threatens to kill her. He's still headhunting her, trying to figure out where she at. And one of Carly's comrades tell her, like, look, we can't fight two wars. We can't fight against the power broker and try to fight against the Avengers and the GRC and everything. But Carly is really hell-bent now on wanting to kill Captain America. Like, not only does she want to ruin the legacy of that shield, expose the legacy of that shield, but she wants to actually kill him and make an example out of him and let him know, look, y'all don't need to look up to this guy because he represents this, this, and this. But she's tapping into that supremacist stuff that Sam was trying to tell her. That's the road you heading down. Your heart is in the right place, but the actions that you're displaying, you giving me real supremacist vibes.
He had called her ass. He had called her ass and like in a court. I forgot what she ended up saying. But he was like, "Damn, you sound like a." She's like, "No, you tricked me. You made me say those words." Like, no, like, my nigga, that's how you really feel. Yeah, my nigga, that's how you really feel, my nigga. You really are a supremacist. Like I said before, once you get that super soldier serum in your blood, my nigga, your mind goes everywhere. You feel like you're the omni powerful at that point, and because she's starting to feel that way.
He was just tallying up everything she was doing. He was like, "So you stealing super soldier serum? You're killing innocent people," and she cut him off. She was like, "Those were just those civilians were just casualties of war. If I have to wipe you out in the process of what I'm trying to do," he was like, "Oh, yeah, you really sounding like it." And she was like, "No, you tricked me." He was like, "I ain't even say shit. You the one who said that." Once you start talking about that casualty of war shit for innocent people, I know what you own at that point. I know what you own.
Yeah, I already knew what she was on, bro. That's why when Lamar said that shit, power makes a person more of themselves, you can look at Carly, bro. That shit goes hand in hand with that supremacy shit, bro. Y'all niggas will do whatever to get what y'all want, my nigga. Y'all get that super soldier shit running through y'all blood. Hey, you don't know what a nigga can do at that point, bro. You're gonna feel like you're the powerful over everybody else.
And that's why Zemo said earlier in the episode, he was like, we have to kill her because you're never getting another Steve Rogers, because Bucky said, well, not all super soldiers are bad. What about Steve?
Said that. I'm glad you said that.
He was like, how often do you get a Steve Rogers? Like, really, come on now. There's never been one since him, and there's never been a quote unquote super soldier before him. He was literally the perfect soldier, and you're not getting that twice. And then we get to the next scene where Sam, Bucky, and Zemo recap what happened. And Bucky is suspicious of John. And he peeped everything just like how we did, how John is really giving us vibes that he really not just trying to take over on his own. Like, he's giving vibes that he might want to take the serum. And I think Bucky was peeping that. So that was interesting to see. And we finally see
what was this? What was this?
That was right after he knocked Zemo out and took the vial. That's when they all met up.
And he looked like you said, and Bucky looked at him like what?
Happened.
You said Bucky looked at him like what?
Bucky had told Sam and Zemo, he was like, something's up with John. He was telling them like how suspicious he was and how John was acting. It's like he's not acting like a hero anymore. Like, he's acting like he was giving villain vibes. That's what Bucky was basically telling them. Like, he's not acting like how he was when we first met him. He doesn't have that I'm trying to be a hero type attitude anymore. They come for Zemo, but they end up fighting everybody else because everybody else is trying to let them know, look, we need Zemo for what the fuck we're trying to do. And Zemo slips out in a bathroom hideaway that he knew was there the whole time. I was wondering why he was so confident in the spot that they picked, but they got secret getaway traps that I'm not surprised about anymore. And I didn't know Well, it's not that I didn't know. It's just I didn't expect to see this. The Dora Milaje know how to take Bucky's arm off. And
that's crazy. That
shit was crazy. That was probably my favorite part of the whole episode because I'm like, oh shit. Like, cause she kept like stabbing him in the arm. And I'm like, y'all know that's metal. Like, why are you trying to stab the arm? And then she got it that one last time, and that bitch said, it just fell off. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what the hell? And Sam like, did you know they could do that shit? And he's like, hell no, I didn't know they could take my shit off like that.
They probably got even more secrets, my nigga. Even more secrets.
Bro, I love the Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje is, boy. Sam even told John Walker before he started fighting. He was like, look, you got a better chance fighting Bucky or one of them super soldiers before you fight the Dora Milaje because they know some shit. They'll get your ass. And I'm like, yo, go ahead, get your ass kicked, boy. But speaking of John, that's when John realizes he is a bitch and he wants to take the serum. Because he got
said they weren't even super soldiers. They weren't even.
He was like, they weren't even super soldiers. I just got my ass handed to me, bro. Like, I gotta take this shit.
Yeah.
Crazy. Bitch ass John, boy. That's your name now. And John and Lamar talk after the fight, and they're talking about how different their war lives would have been if they had the super soldier serum. Like, they start reminiscing on how many lives they probably could have saved, how much good they could have done. And Lamar tells John, hell yeah, I would have took the serum. Like, if they offered it to me. And I'm like, damn, is John thinking like, damn, I probably should have grabbed 2 vials? You know what I'm saying? And we see in the end how he really regrets not grabbing 2 because of what happens to Lamar.
And I'm glad that they touched on their war lives, because I was always somebody who questioned, like, is John really like that for real? Like, is John really that type of nigga? I was like, because he always getting his ass beat and shit like that. I'm like, is he really that type of nigga? Is he really cold in war style combat? I was like, I don't know. And they was like, he only got those medals of honor because, you know what I'm saying, he just survived, basically. Like, he didn't do no hero shit. I'm like, so he really ain't that type of nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like a Captain America stand-in, you would think he is. I was like,
but
that was interesting.
I knew he was like that because he passed all the physical tests. He was the only one that passed all the physical tests for trying to find the new Captain America. He was the only one that knew how to handle the shield correctly. Like, they even said in the first episode, well, the second episode, they said MIT did a test on his body, and his body was the most like acceptable to the training that they were doing. So I'm like, okay, John can do some shit. It's just you fighting people that's way stronger than you now. So you just look like you ain't on no shit. But I'm like, yeah, John can do the shit. It's just, you're a bitch, boy. Can't take that bitch at you. I don't care how big he is. And like the quote you said earlier, Lamar tells him power only makes a person more of themselves. So Lamar was telling him, look, I ain't worried about if the serum was going to change who I was or whatever. It was just going to make me more of whoever I already was. And John is looking like, well, who am I? Like, you get that look on John's face like, well, damn, who am I then, bitch?
We all know, yeah, I was about to say, we all know who he is. We all know who that nigga is. Whole ass nigga. We already knew. He was like, am I Captain America or am I Carly? Nah, nigga, you a bitch, my nigga. You outside of all of them niggas. You don't stand for shit, nigga. You a bitch ass nigga for real. So I was like, yeah, I already see how this shit finna go.
And then we get to the next scene. Carly calls Sarah about Sam, and she gives her the coordinates to have Sam meet up with her, and she threatens their family if she does not cooperate. And I'm like, yup. That failed attempt that Sam had, that low-key probably was the last bit of hope that he had of reaching her on a actual, heart-to-heart level, because she's gonna go in full supremacist mode now. She don't care. So that was interesting to see. I was like, could she be going villain mode? But I'm like, no, I still got faith in Carly. I feel like Carly still can turn good.
I still felt like she wanted to talk to Sam even in that last scene, but Bucky had came, and then they ended up getting that information about John Walker getting caught up in that building over there with Lamar. So I'm like, they had to leave quick. I felt like she still wanted to have a conversation with him and just pick up where they left off with the conversation at the funeral or whatever. I feel like she still like actually wanted to talk to him. I still feel like she's capable of being talked to and talked down out of what she's doing.
Definitely. And we get around to the end of the episode. Sam and Carly finally meet up again, like you just said. This time Bucky is there, and Lamar and John are looking for Carly, and Lamar gets captured, everyone's fighting super soldiers. And while John is getting his ass kicked, this is the final straw. He said, fuck it. I gotta take this serum. And he takes the serum, and he's finally, I guess you could say,
he took the serum mid-fight?
Captain America. Yeah, I'm guessing so. Shit. They did a cutaway scene when they did a cutaway scene because no, he was getting beat up at first because remember when the dude tried to punch him and like he took that bar and wrapped it around his arm and threw him, and the dude was like, oh shit, because he's like, oh shit, you stronger than you was a little bit ago.
That wasn't the first sign. That wasn't the first sign. Because he never got punched before. Like he was getting his ass punched or whatever. Then he threw the shield, and that was the sign that he took the serum. When he threw the shield into the wall, and the wall was like damn near busted up. That was like the sign, like, oh, he got the serum. And then he ended up taking the shield out, and somebody else tried to punch him. And then we get a cutaway scene of him like beating somebody's ass, and he kicked him down the stairs. And then that's when we get the bid. But when he threw the shield through the wall, that was supposed to be the sign of him like taking the serum. Oh, he took the serum type shit.
I didn't take that as the sign because the shield vibranium. The shield gonna break the wall if you throw it hard enough.
He didn't take the serum mid-fight. That wouldn't even make sense. Like it don't work that quick now. Do it? Like, did he have like a needle just ready for this shit? Like the serum was taken.
You could probably drink the shit. That's why I say he probably took it. He had to take it mid-fight, bro, because the shield is vibranium. When he threw the shield and it broke into the wall, I wasn't shocked to see the shield break to the wall because it's made of vibranium. If you throw that bitch hard enough, it's gonna break through whatever you throw it at. So that wasn't the sign for me.
Captain America. Captain America is the only person. No, you're not throwing a shield through a wall like that.
It's vibranium.
Nah, bro.
It's the strongest metal.
That was the sign he took the serum, bro. That was the sign.
I ain't take that.
That was the sign I got. I was like, oh, that's when he took it. And that's when we got getting kicked down the stairs or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. So he took it before they even walked in.
I took the sign when dude tried to punch him and he wrapped that bar around him and bent the metal bar and shit. And the dude was like, oh,
after what I'm talking about. This was after what I'm talking about.
No, I'm that was after, but I'm saying I feel like that was the sign that, oh shit, he took the serum. I ain't take him throwing the shield into the wall as the sign of him taking the serum. I took the sign when the dude was like, oh shit, and he got flung across or whatever. I took that as
and that was another question that I had. I was like, why did the Flagsmasher stop fighting John Walker after he threw the shield? Because they was punching him or whatever. Then he threw the shield, boom. And then they stopped fighting him. And he was just like looking around and shit. And then he ended up walking because he threw the shield.
He threw the shield, but he threw the shield because he was getting his ass kicked. And then dude, like, it was dark where they was, so it's like you could do a sneak attack. Like after dude threw the shield, you ain't got the shield on you, so it's like I could do a sneak attack now and hit you with a kill move. But he grabbed the shield at the right time. That's why I'm like, I don't feel like that scene was where we realized, because when I was watching that scene, I'm like, when is he gonna take the serum? Like even after the shield hit the wall and everything, I'm like, when are you gonna take the serum?
That's why I'm asking you. He didn't take the serum then. He took it before then. That's why I'm telling you he couldn't have taken it mid fight when he throws the shield and then he's looking around like what the hell going on, and he walks up and gets the shield. Like when did he take the serum? And how the hell the serum work that fast?
During the cutaway.
That serum taking a second?
During the cutaway is when he took the serum. And then that's why when we see them in literally the next scene, that's why dude was like, oh shit. Like you look you fighting me way different now from a couple minutes ago when I was just kicking your ass. Now you bending giant ass metal bars and shit. That's why dude was like, oh shit. So I don't know. I felt like that was the part. Who knows? I feel like he took it during the cutaway. He drunk it. He had to put it in the system. And Carly kills Lamar, which hit me pretty hard. I was very upset about that. Only black character.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy too, bro. Because obviously she didn't mean to do that shit. She was just trying to get niggas off him, but it was just like, damn. That one kick killed that nigga. Like this nigga was a warrior, my nigga. So for that one kick to kill him, that shit was definitely surprising to me because I thought he was gonna be around for a minute to be John's sidekick. But
it wasn't just the kick; it was the kick plus you flew into a giant cement pillar. So it's like, yeah, your lungs and your ribs, yeah, that shit done, my nigga. You did, definitely did. I was very hurt about that. He's not the only black character, but the only black protagonist. So
He definitely needed that though, because that was the only reason like my boy John was like actually going to turn into like this full-fledged villain. He had to see Lamar get killed to actually turn into the villain. So that's why he was like, oh yeah, now I'm finna go crazy on y'all niggas. And it's funny, after he jumped out of the window, he looked like the real Captain America the way he landed this shit. I was like, oh, this nigga finna get to it. He finna get to it. And he chased my boy down. I don't know why the fuck he chased him down and not Carly down or whatever, but I was like, okay, do what you want to do. But yeah, he chased him down. And
I think Carly got away in just enough time, so he was trying to catch whoever he could catch at that point and just trying to figure out what the hell she was. So, and then we get to the final moments of the episode. Took that shield, that symbol of American hope, and just killed the Flagsmasher on camera, stabbing him, impaling him multiple times with the shield on camera in front of everybody, for everybody to see, for the whole world to see now. And like Quincy just said, the still picture of him with the blood dripping off of the shield. No more squeaky clean heroes, my guy. Your application will definitely be reviewed now. So,
but I think with this scene and like what moving forward, what we're going to get when looking back at the Captain America, when everybody was recording him, everybody was seeing him do what he did to the Flagsmasher. I think people will be split on, like, some people will like this new Captain America, like, damn, I like the way he goes about things, like he gets shit done. You feel what I'm saying? And some people will obviously hate it, like, damn, like the old Captain America wouldn't have did this, that, and the third. And it's the same way a lot of people view the Flagsmashers. A lot of people don't like the way they're going about trying to get the medical supplies and trying to get back to how it was before the blip. But it's a lot of people that also like what the Flagsmashers are doing. So it's like a balancing thing. Some people love you, some people hate you, but it's like it's going to be a balance. So not everybody is going to hate John Walker for what he did. So I don't think it's going to be like a damn John Walker, like you a full-fledged villain now. It's like, no, some people gonna like that. Some people gonna like the new Captain America being like that now. So
I feel like it'll be more people who don't like it as opposed to the few who will, because I feel like most people look up to Captain America, because one of the Flagsmashers told Carly, the Flagsmasher that was with her at the graveyard when she got to see
that was the one he killed.
Yeah, he was like, hey, like I used to look up to Captain America low key. Like when I was a kid, like that was one of my favorite superheroes. That's what I looked up to. So he was like, even though my perspective has changed on that now, I understand why so many people look up to him the way they do, because the narrative that they're looking at is the same narrative I used to look at him before my perspective changed. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like more people are going to dislike this than they are going to like, especially in America. In America, he might as well not even go back, because they're going to ban him from the United States, I feel, at this point.
I really feel like it's going to be split. Some people, like I said, will hate him, but other people be like, he did what he had to do. Like, those are the enemies. Those are the people, because those are the people that is really destroying communities, bro. Destroying buildings, destroying innocent people inside of buildings. Like, they're going to see that as like, oh, the Flagsmashers are doing that. He just killed a Flagsmasher, the people that are destroying our community and shit like that. So they're going to be like, oh, that's why he did it. So it's going to be a reason behind what he did. He just didn't kill him to kill him. They don't know anything about Lamar and his killing. They just think he's killing him because what the Flagsmashers have been doing to the whole community or whatever, to like GRC's buildings and like killing innocent people. That's all they see. They don't know about the Lamar thing. So that's how everybody's going to be looking at it like, oh, that's why he did it. He doing this for America, or he doing this for the people around. But
another thing, Captain America, similar to Batman, Captain America don't kill people, bro. Like, that's the one thing that Captain America just never did. Like, and a lot of
nobody said this ain't the old Cap though. This ain't the old Cap.
But so you can't say have the shield, he can't kill. Bro. But you can't say he can't kill.
Nobody told Captain America he couldn't kill. That was just his morals. Everybody's morals aren't the same. No,
but I'm saying, if you're going to take the mantle of being the next Cap, they're going to expect you to go with the morals of being that hero. If you're the next Batman, if you're the next Batman and the original Batman wasn't out here killing people, like, don't be the new Batman and you out here killing it. Like, you're not the new Batman at that point. You're your own hero.
I'm gonna talk about this because the old Batman, he never killed people and shit like that. But in this new rendition, of Batman with Robert Pattinson, he is going to be actually killing folks. So just because you're a different Batman doesn't mean you have to have the same moral code as somebody else. The thing about Batman and like the Nightwings and like the Batmans in the future, they were like raised and brought up by Batman, so they ended up learning the moral code as they came up. But John Walker wasn't under Captain America's wings. Like, he has his own moral code, and he's been in the war where like killing was like a thing, bro. Like, we had to kill to survive. So I feel like that moral code and Captain America moral code are different. If you're not raised up under that moral code, you're not going to have the same moral code as the old Cap. And that's the same thing with the Batmans as well.
But that's why America isn't going to like this, bro. That's why they're not going to like this footage. Because, yes, like, you were in the military. Yes, you were put in situations where it was kill or be killed. But once you get that shield, you have to live under the expectations of that shield. Like, that's why the government picked John Walker, because they felt he was the person that could embody what Captain America was.
But nobody told him he couldn't kill. Nobody told him he couldn't kill.
You know that, though, bro.
You had to be just like him. Nobody told him you had to be just like the Steve Rogers. Nobody
That's
told him.
That's what the government damn near did. You're the figurehead. When you're the figurehead, they're giving you that expectation.
Just because they give you the shield does not mean you have to be Steve Rogers. It just means you're the face. It doesn't mean you have to go about things like Steve, but you are the face of America, though. So it doesn't mean you're going to have to kill. If that's your thing, you do what you have to do. You don't have to be exactly like Steve Rogers.
But if you're the face, they're expecting you to not kill. Like, you can't be the face and you out here just killing. Like, because how's that going to look to the kids that are looking up to you, like, and reading your comic books and stuff like that? If they're finding out on the news, like, whoa, mom, dad, Captain America, I just seen Captain America kill somebody, like, literally kill somebody. Like, yes. That's not what the shield represents. That's not what Captain America represents.
Who did he kill?
He killed the Flagsmasher, but
who killed other people? Who killed other people?
Captain America that we knew and loved before this new guy, he wasn't doing that. The Captain America, bro. He would capture the villain, he would beat up the villain and like put the villain in jail, but that was it. That's what Captain America was. He was the quote unquote perfect solution. Like, he was literally the perfect soldier. So it's like, you have to live up to that. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's what the government and America is going to look at him like you can't be Captain America. Like, no, this is not what Captain America is. And that's what the government going to tell him. And that's what everybody watching going to tell him. Like, this is not our Captain America. This is not the symbol that we're used to seeing, blah, blah, blah. Like, the optics matter, bro. That's what I'm telling you. The optics matter.
I don't agree, because like I said, people will understand what he did, because the Flagsmashers just killed 11 people in a building. They're going to be like, okay, we understand why he did what he had to do. We understand it, because if he would have got away, he would have just killed more people. Like, we understand what he did. I'm telling you, people are going to be split. People will hate him, be like, damn, you ain't the old Cap. Other people are like, oh, we understand why he did what he did. And that's why I compared it to the Flagsmashers. The Flagsmashers have a lot of people saying, you can't do it like this. We understand your reasoning, but you can't do it like this. And there's other people like, I like the way they're going about it. They're getting shit done by any means necessary. That's why I compared the two. And it just makes sense. Just because you're a Captain America, it doesn't mean you have to be exactly the same. They gave him that to be the symbol. So we're just going to have to agree to disagree. So that's fine. But I just think it's going to be people split on the issue, and not like everybody on one way or another.
Hey, I'm glad they got a lot of people to agree to disagree on this shit. I mean, they're doing their job right.
Facts.
Definitely doing their job right. All right. What's your expectations for next episode, though?
Expectations for next episode, bro. What is going to happen with John Walker, bro? Is this when we're going to see the fight between the two? Are we going to see the fight of Bucky and? Because I feel like in episode 6, that's when they're going to be back at home, and they're going to have the shield by then. I feel like by episode 6, they're going to have the shield. So I feel like in episode 5, they will beat John Walker ass, maybe kill him, or maybe just throw him in jail, and then they get the shield back. But I think that happens this in episode 5. We get more information on Sharon. We dive into like what that scene was and what that operation was that she was involved with. Because I feel like we just seen it, but they didn't explain what it was. So I want to see that as well. But I think that's it. Oh, Zemo. Oh yeah, got to think of Zemo. Where's Zemo at? I think Zemo is going to see the Power Broker.
I predict that the Dora Milaje will still capture Zemo and bring him to Wakanda. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but Zemo is definitely going to have to get taken to Wakanda next episode. 2, what else I think? I do think I agree with you. We'll get a more in-depth look on Sharon, and we're gonna find out if Sharon is either working with the power broker or against him. We'll find out the answer to that question next episode. And 3, yeah, John Walker is going to break off from the GRC, and he's going to be doing his own thing as anti-cap at this point.
Yes, sir. You got anything else, bro?
No, that's it. I love this episode. This is definitely my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah, it definitely was. It keeps getting better and better. So I definitely want to congratulate the show, man. It's definitely been going up since the beginning. Still some plot holes. I won't say it's perfect, but it's definitely a good show, though. Definitely a good show. You can hit it with the social media.
All right. You can follow us on Twitter at QE Podcast 1. You can follow us on Instagram at QANDE Podcast. You can follow and like our Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can see anytime that we drop new episodes. Our email, QANDEpodcast@gmail.com for any business inquiries, questions, or concerns.
Yes, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Q&E Podcast. Subscribe to all of our podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And we're also everywhere else as well. So wherever you listen to podcasts, definitely subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to my YouTube. Just type in Quincy Hicks into the search bar and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys for listening, and we out. Peace.